Hello, gamers. It's Rubick here for episode 36 of the Gamers Galaxy pod. And today we've got a little bit of a spanner thrown in the works. Our buddy WT has decided to take a little bit of a holiday all of a sudden and said, yeah, find someone else to do it. So I've gone hunting and I've found the wonderful, solemnly swear, happy to fill in for WT for a couple of weeks. How are you, mate?
Good. I appreciate you reaching out. And while I'm sad that WT is missing out on an episode, I won't complain about being able to try and fill his shoes a little bit.
Yeah, it won't be hard, mate. Pretty easy job. WT, that one's for
Yeah.
you. Yeah, so we've got an absolute packed show. Like it's so much to talk through, so we better get started, eh? And yeah, let's get straight into it. Um, first subject is the interview from last week or last episode when we interviewed Ted from Chibi Clash. I just wanted to say I won't ask you to comment on that interview because you didn't actually do it solemnly. So I'll just say thanks to Ted for coming on the show. There's lots happening with that game. We have little tournaments on our Discord if you want to join the Discord and get involved for IMX prizes. They've got pretty good head on their shoulders, know where they're going. Got some exciting features coming out soon. A land sale as well as a Genesis free mint giveaway. So lots happening in Chibi Clash. You can play the game now and earn kingdom points, which I believe, and they've kind of hinted at, will turn into an airdrop. So get involved with Chibi Clash today. What did you think of Chibi Clash, Solomon? Because I know you do play it.
Yeah, so I will say that I am not the best at Chibi Clash, but not for lack of trying. I have spent uh, a ridiculous amount of hours playing Chibi Clash, trying to beat previous records, and I mean, for me, the bar was pretty low, but I did get up to I think it was 137,000 or something like that. So for me was pretty good. But it is addicting for a game that has some pretty basic or simple features for it. It is a ton of fun, and it's a lot more strategic than you think it would be.
Yeah, it definitely is addictive. I forgot to put that in there. That's an important point because WT says it all the time. He's like, he just plays for hours. All right. So
Yeah,
that's,
all of a sudden that my time is lost. A certain amount of time for games is what I've been doing lately, and all of a sudden Chibi Clash, I'm like, oh, that actually ate into two different game slots.
well, yeah. Well, hopefully the payments come in and you know for you get rewarded for all your efforts with the airdrop, mate. You can make a little bit of money out of it. That'd be nice.
That'd be sweet as long as it doesn't go by score.
I'd be screwed as well, mate. I actually done all right this tournament. I normally don't do too good at these topic games,
Yeah,
but
yeah,
I'm coming top three two times, and out of the three tournaments we've had so far, so I'm happy with that. Anyway, we'll move on.
yeah, you've been killing it. Yeah.
We've got about 15 to 16 games to talk about that are building on Immutable. 10 confirmed and 4 rumors, so that's not very good. That's 14. Um, and so starting off with the games that we know are building on Immutable or are 99% sure. A couple of weeks ago, Kart Party announced, or Immutable announced, Kart Party as a partner and building on ZK EVM. What's your thoughts on Kart Party?
Hey, one thing I will say about Car Party is that I'm a sucker for good background music. And I grew up in the world of Mario Kart, so Kart Party I am all about. It's one of those that definitely gets my excitement levels going, gets my adrenaline pumping when I hear the good music and see the racing going on.
Yeah, it's the game where it's the, like mode that we haven't got on Immutable. Like Immutable doesn't. Can you think of a car? There's not many racing games at all on Immutable. Uh,
Yeah,
there's Auto Legends and OBS, which are more like experiences, but racing games, Rave. Uh, they were talking about Immutable every 5 seconds, and all of a sudden Venom dropped their mainnet, and they were all of a sudden Venom all over again. I asked them, and Rave are building on Immutable still apparently, but all they talk about is Venom. No game that just focuses on them as a game and it's a racing game. So that's what I was excited about. It's a racing game and the kart style, which is very popular. But it's got a pretty good
yeah.
following. It's got 85,000 followers. They're posted. their pinned message from a year ago has got 1.7 million views. So they've got some reach. They're a Singaporean-based company. And if you look at their website, it's pretty neat artistry they've got. And they've got one of the modes in the game looks really cool. And it looks like a version of Fall Guys, but with cars. So it literally looks like Fall Guys. If you've seen Fall Guys with your little dudes running around. Yeah, but in cars. So that's a really good idea, I thought, an obstacle course with something you're less maneuverable on, and so you got, there's so many more kind of obstacles they could throw on your way, for that. So yeah, I'm looking at it on the video now. You wouldn't be able to see, but their artwork's great. Look like they're a professional team as usual. Immutable focuses on teams that can deliver, high quality. And they're a bit degen-y as well. So that's Kart Party. Anything else to say on Kart Party, or we'll move on to the next one?
No, I think that about covers it. I'm excited. Like you said, there's so many games that are building on Immutable, partnering with Immutable, but not many racing games. So this is definitely a standout.
Yeah. The next one is Mars for me. They self-announced, or Mars Battle, I think they called when they launch. It's a game that's been out for many years. Like 2 years it's been out for, and its actual terrain is designed off Mars's geo mapping that NASA's done. So it's like actual real landscape on Mars is in their game. What was quite interesting. It's not the whole entire Mars, obviously. I'm pretty certain it wouldn't be that big, but it's aspect.
Yeah.
I didn't look into it deep enough to know that, but WT and I always mention that games tend to announce they're launching on Immutable at the same, very coincidentally, around the same time as ICOs and token launches. So they've already got a token, but they're doing another token launch. And if you look at their feed right now, it's just like token, like for weeks and weeks and weeks. Nothing else other than token. For like that. There's two things. Like, Gamers Galaxie is game fun first, ownership second, earning third. That's the order we think is important. And you heard us say that before. So when these games do this, I start to go red flag. And yeah, what did you think about Mars for you? Have you looked into it at all?
Yeah, I've been feeling the same thing. You know, looking on a project's feed, and when you start off, and you're like, okay, they've got almost 90,000 followers, and you're like, okay, start off strong. But like you said, it's spamming their feed all the time, and to me, that is a big turnoff. Just because that shows that they're not really focusing on the game and the experience, and focusing on the fun aspect of it. And yeah, and lately with there's so many projects that are doing that. Like you said, with Immutable, somehow it just so happens to coincide that all the their news comes out with when they're launching a new token. And I there's so many games to get into and to play, that ones where that's their focus is not really my focus.
Yeah. It's like I'm down to like April the 10th, and there's been like 50 posts, and they're all about token. So that's a no thank you for me. But apparently they're launching a shooter version of a game soon. And yeah, and when you announce you're building on Immutable and you still got Binance written on your very first page in your bio, it's like, are you really coming to Immutable? I'll believe it when I see it, but I could be wrong. I've been wrong a couple of times when I've had these gut feelings. But yeah, well, I'm not looking at this game. I'm done. That's just way too much overdone for me. I'm a gamer, so hopefully the degens get involved and support them. Any last comments
Yeah,
for you, or is that enough for you as well?
that that is enough for me.
The provisions of cosmetic NFTs allowing players to customize their player characters. So they have got a blog out where they're talking about the game as part of the strategic partnership and why they choose, the ZK EVM for what parts of their game. And so if you want to see that, you can look for that in their announcement. And okay, the next one is Brawl. Never heard of this game before, but it's been out for a while. Your thoughts on Brawl?
So, I from from what I've seen from Brawl, I mean, because they've got their token, and I know that's like launched. Whenever I see their website, it reminds me of a game that I think is on Web3, but I can't remember like what the style, what game it was, like what
AI
it
Arena
is.
or Nifty League?
Maybe NFT League. I just thought like the graphics and the layout were very similar to something, but I just can't. Yeah, I
Yeah.
just can't
Do you mean
place
AI
my name on it.
Arena on Arbitrum? I don't know. It looks pretty cool. I'm looking at it right now on the
Maybe that's
screen from their website. Like the gameplay looks like, for people that like those 2D fighters, it looks pretty like arcadey style fun. Could have people that like that kind of game would really enjoy it. It looks pretty crisp.
yeah, no, it really does, and it kind of has I like the different modes that it has. Casual ranked tournament. I mean, I feel like that's pretty big right now in the space. But I definitely like that style. I mean, that's another. See, I feel like the people that are building some of these games are definitely more my age because it's all this nostalgia coming back to those style games.
Yeah.
They know who their target audience is. That's for sure.
So these guys are Solana game. They're coming over to EVM, so they've talked about. It sounds like a game that's the degen. People are realizing that a chain for meme coins that doesn't work half the time probably isn't really right for gaming. Like it's there's not that many gamers on Solana. They're all degens. There's a huge amount of traffic on
Yeah.
Solana. The people, there are people that play certain
Oh,
games,
tons.
but it's not like an ecosystem of games. It's like you're on your own. If you build a game on Solana, you're not going to get the network effect of 9 heroes. People aren't going to play Brawl because of 9 heroes. But if you build on Immutable and you can build a passport, and people are going to say, "Oh, what's this Brawl game?" When you're on your passport looking at the games list, you get that network effect. You know that your wallet's going to work, your coin's going to work natively. You better swap for Brawl coin if you need that. It's all integrated ecosystem that they'll benefit from coming to Immutable. But we will see. They've got a lot of following, 137,000, but that doesn't mean you've been around a long time. That number just accrues, and your active followers aren't that high. They get a fair few people looking at their posts, so they are bigger than I thought. But sorry, go on.
Oh, I'm saying, and like you said, in a lot of what this comes, am I? There we go. So, yeah, it ends up being that it comes back to Passport. The Passport is, I mean, the tools that are coming out right now that they're using, it makes things so easy to use. And, so like you said, with BitBrawl and these games that are coming out on there, that ease of use is a huge thing. And consistency is huge. And I'm literally sometimes I feel like it's simple mind, simple pleasure, but when I'll click on a game now when I'm looking at it, and all of a sudden Neck Passport pops up, and I almost just start to giggle like a little kid. I'm like, that's so easy, and I didn't have to do anything except for press a button.
See something on the website that I never saw before. Their investors, Shima Capital. I don't know if you know Shima Capital, but they're really tied to Immutable. Big investors in Immutable itself. So potential link there between Shima Capital and why they're coming over. I've seen that a couple of times actually. All right, let's move on. We're only through 3 games and we're a fair way in. So this is going to be a long episode. I hope you're ready. I hope you got the time, mate.
The talker.
Fabled Adventure next. Have you seen that game? I'll go first. The Fabled Adventure is a pixelated meme kind of game. Their token is $FAP. So yeah, they're pretty hardcore memers. Peppy the Frog everywhere. I'm seeing Peppy now. If you look at their website, they've got a fair few followers, 15K for a pixelated game. But it's the game is 4 heroes. You can 4 like classes that give real distinct gameplay, like the typical the tri what's it called factor, the trilemma or something. Oh god, I've gone blank from the MMORG, the heal, tank, and support, DPS sort of thing. So there's like heal and support, tank, and DPS, and that this one's got that kind of model. Yeah, and I'm not massively into pixelated games. What about you? Do you like pixelated games? Get into them at all?
I don't. I have never been a big pixelated uh, gamer, and well, and this to me, I'm also not a big fan of Pepe. So watching it's one of those where I've seen people even talking about it, and I've seen posts from them and things like that, and I'm sure they got some great people involved. But yeah, pixelated and Pepe, that's
You don't like
yeah,
Pepe?
I just kind of
Pepe's like
no,
the ultimate meme. You mean the meme coin or the actual brand of kind of like cultural Pepe?
neither, just Pepe himself. I whenever I see Pepe, I don't know what it is. I'm just like, man,
You're a Pepe
what
hater,
it's probably because I don't like frogs. I don't like frogs
uh, okay.
when I was a kid. So, I Pepe got big so fast, and I'm like, that is one of the creepiest looking frogs I've ever seen in my life.
All right. Well, wish Pepe the Frog Fabled Adventure all the luck in the world, but he ain't getting Solomon's swears support. So
Yeah,
next.
I apologize.
Yeah, that's okay, mate. Everyone, that's the best thing about being on a pod is you get to have your opinion. Cool. So, Mummy IO is the next one. That game I saw announced 3 years ago on it announced on what's it called, the copycat chain of StarkX, Immutable StarkX, Miria.
Oh yeah,
Miria.
yeah.
They announced on Miria, and then they're still building. So, what do you know about them? Do you know? Have you ever seen them before?
About Miria, or you mean about
Mummy, no,
Mummy?
Mummy IO.
Yeah. One of those. I remember going through it, looking at it some just because I I like that kind of style. I thought the graphics look cool, what they're going for. Uh, when you're going for the uh, mythic type, type stuff. I'm really big into that. I like fantasy games. Um, a lot of it comes down to though is just having time to even get into anything.
Oh yeah, I know that
Um,
feeling.
yeah, and that's why part of why I love Gamers Galaxy so much, but also why I'm like, oh man, there is just so much. And Mummy, yeah, I like the fantasy style, and kind of gone through their white paper some and looked over it. I would love to be able to get into it if I have time, for sure.
Um, yeah, it'd be interesting to see. The company itself is they only got 10,000 followers. But the company themselves, it looks like it's multi-chain for starters with so Altura, BNB, and one other Polygon Ultra. So maybe Ultra's just blockchain, the non-blockchain side of it. But they're building 3 games. They're building a shooter, champions tactics strategy game, as well as this RPG games. It didn't say which game they're building on Immutable, did it? I know Mummy IO. It says Mummy IO, which is the brand name, yeah? Mummy.io
Okay.
X Immutable.
Yeah.
It doesn't say
Yeah.
Mummy RPG. Oh, what up? Okay. Okay.
So
No,
yeah,
no, no.
yeah,
Sorry, it does say it in the actual message, not on the picture. So the message says the thread announced Mummy's RPG when Worlds Collide is now featured on the lineup. So it's just one of them. Um,
yeah. I will say that their heroes or their characters that they have, they all got a very casual look on their face, like very nonchalant look.
the characters of the game.
Uh, yeah, from their website.
Oh, I didn't even notice that.
You got this. Yeah, I like
um,
that. I like the dog.
yeah. Anyway, Mummy's coming to the RPGs coming to Immutable, and we will see if it's a quality game or not. But it wasn't responded to by Immutable. That announcement that they announced did not get responded by Immutable. Normally, if a game says they're building on Immutable, then Immutable will respond to them. It's a bit of a funny one that they didn't see. Doesn't their website doesn't say Mirio anymore either. So, okay, next up, this one's a little bit of a. I'm going to say a bit of a stretch because Immutable announced a game called Hunter's Arena, and we'll get to this a bit later on in the pod about that game. But the same company, Metatisco, I think it's Go, that was built. It's actually released Hunter's Arena Reborn, and it was like a MOBA style game where teams versus another team and with objectives. And it didn't take off, but it looks really good. That's the crazy thing. It looks so good. Quality is amazing. I probably should have had video of it up right now. I'm talking about it, but they then it went radio silence, and their Discord was dead. No, nothing at all. Then all of a sudden, just a couple of weeks ago, they announced that rebranding the company that's building it to Megalink, and Megalink's going into like wallets and degen stuff, all in partnership with BNB Chain, BNB support. But at the bottom of their brand new refreshed website, our partners, there's Immutable X, not BNB Chain. So that game, Hunter's Arena, has been rebranded to Hunter's Arena Legends. Is that right? No, it was Hunter's Arena's Legends, and now it's Hunter's Arena's Reborn, and it's changed to an extraction game. So it's what every man for themselves and goes finds the goods and gets the goods and gets out. And then on top of that, they've launched on that website they've launched is a new game called The Wild West, or Wild West Guns of Honor, Guns and Honor, and it's an extraction game as well. It looks really good. I put a video up of it. Where have I got it? I got it here. It really is a quality game, and the graphics on it are literally the best graphics I've seen in a game ever. That's how good it is. Like, not just Web3. And so it doesn't say what chain that's going to be on, but it's the other ones, they're still partnered with Immutable. You can see that because they've revamped the website. So I'm pretty certain that both these games will be on Immutable. Did you have a chance to look at the Wild West game at all?
Yeah, and that's another thing that so I love history, and watching the Wild West video and being set around the American Civil War, so around 1861. That grabbed my attention like crazy.
Yeah.
I've this is seeing that, and like you said, the graphics are amazing,
Yeah.
and which just makes it even better. And I was a big Red Dead Redemption player, and so this one kind of hits home. And just seeing both the videos for that and for Hunter's Arena Revolution, yeah, I I'm gonna be making time for these ones.
Yeah, and did you see how, like, in the game, you got an objective like extraction? You got to find a saddle, and then you got to go find the horse and get on the horse and ride out of there to win the loot, sort of thing.
Yeah,
It's a really good idea
yeah,
for a Web3 game. It's a so good idea. And also the game is like, doesn't matter what chain it's on. To be honest with you, this game is going to be a big hit, and I really hope they don't put it on BNB. Honestly, BNB is just junk, and if they put it on an OPNB, it might be okay. But BNB's got two chains. It's got the old BNB chain that's a copy of Ethereum but cheaper gas. It's pretty much Ethereum exactly, and it's got all the problems that old Ethereum had with like block space issues and stuff. I've heard so many games developers say that it's an absolute nightmare to try and build on. So they've BNB Binance has built an optimistic super chain called OPBNB. So I assume they may end up on that as well as Immutable, because it has said they're going to go multi chain eventually. But yeah, it doesn't matter if it's on Immutable or not. This game's going to be big. Hopefully it is on it. It'll be a lot more fun on Immutable through Passport, and mass adoption will be easier for them to get. So let's see. Any final thoughts on this one, mate? Or we move on again?
Just that I really hope that they move to Immutable and ZKVM because I really would love to have those games on there.
Easy. We're biased though.
Just only for the good stuff, and it's because we like truth.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, so the next game is Devomon, another Mon game. Immutable's got all the Mon games. It's got Revomon. Apparently, Cryptomon is coming to Immutable as well. It's just migrated to Polygon from Binance. And there's also Pixelmon. So that's 4 of the Mons apparently going to be building on Immutable. So interesting one. And the way I know that Devomon is building on Immutable is because I just checked their white paper out the other day and saw some notes saying we're building on ZKVM. And I also just happened to fall across something on the Discord that double confirmed it. Just a comment from the dev that said something. A little bit of digging and found that they were a Devomon dev. And then that's what led me to search for the white paper and saw that they've updated the white paper a couple of days ago with Immutable as their NFT partner. What did you think of this one?
Yeah, like you said, there's a lot of the Mons coming out, and yeah, and I've been looking at it and going through it, and I mean it's really cool if you like that kind of game style and play because you have your human that you nurture and grows, and then you have your um, yeah, and then you have your Evamon that is your pretty much your human parallel and do the same thing. So I think you get to collect shards to uh, evolve. And I think the humans have their own unique elemental abilities too, which is really cool. And I know that there's going to be different gameplay modes like dungeon and ranked multiplayer and things like that. So yeah, so I mean I think it's going to be definitely has potential to be really popular. I mean, when you got Pokemon type games, the revenue alone from those every year is insane. So you have games that are similar that are built on Web3. I think I think it's a great recipe for something good happening.
Creature collector games, like obvious Web3 benefits, isn't it? But can all of them win, or do you think just there's going to be one winner is there room for Illuvium and Pixelmon and Devomon and Revomon and Cryptomon to all be super successful?
think that I think that there is the potential for them to all be successful. I don't necessarily think that all of them will be successful just because when it comes down to numbers and odds, I mean, the amount of games that are being built right now, I mean, still what I feel is that out of all Web3 games that are coming out right now, that 90% are probably going to fail or not be as successful as like the top earners and major contributors and things like that. But I think that there's still going to be quite a few games in this genre that are going to be successful. But I hope they don't all kind of clone each other. They're going to need to have their own different intricacies and their own facets because you don't want to be fighting for all the same people. I mean, you want to be able to get some, but you want that kind of crossover. So find that niche, and so whether it's a different gameplay style or something along those lines. I mean, definitely, I'm a realist too. I like to be optimistic, but I'm also a realist, and I think that last bear cycle has kind of helped solidify that. So yeah, lots of potential here, but all successful, unlikely. I hope that they all are successful just because I love seeing everybody come together as a community, and that's what Web3 does.
Yeah. I think your point about 90% success rate, that's about spot on. 75% never make the money back they spend to build. This is all games ever in the history of games. 75% games never make the money back that they spend to make, and another 20% on top of that fail in terms of reaching profitability in a sustainable way. Some of them might get their money back, but you know they're not able to continue on because they're not making enough money to pay their staff. Things like that. So, and it's only about 5% that are super successful. Still a lot of games, and super successful not meaning
Yeah. Oh
billions.
yeah, definitely.
But anyway, we'll move on again because I'm not a big fan of Pokemon style games. To be honest. No, don't shoot me. Don't shoot me. I know everyone's a massive fan of Pokemon style games. I never played Pokemon in my life. Not one of the games. Not. I wouldn't even be able to tell you what Pokemon Silver or Gold, Bronze. I only knew about it because I used to see them in the shop when I used to work in the game shop. So yeah, I'm a bit out. I'm more of a PC.
Don't ask me.
Yeah, I'm not.
Don't
I'm
ask
not.
me to name anything.
Yeah, I used to work in a game shop when I was a kid selling games, so I could see all the Pokemon games all the time, but never played one. Can you believe that? Cool. All right.
Hey.
I bought a pack of cards once from Pokemon. I learned how to play the game and then got bored and stopped playing it. Anyway, that was a physical game. The next game is one that I had a bit of a dig at, and they didn't respond to me. Like Stray Cat Tribe. It's another Solana game, and it's coming to Immutable. We are thrilled to announce our official partnership with Immutable. Then next line, elevating gaming experience on Solana daily. That's their announcement that they're coming to Immutable. That's it. With an official Immutable logo and it's Immutable's like artistic person creating this what is it called, a bloody hell little animation. Say they're coming to Immutable. I'm pretty sure. Immutable responded with a partnership, but it just seems so weird that that's the thing you'd choose to write. And they're Solana through and through, man. I don't know what they're doing coming to Immutable. Maybe they're struggling for players or something. I don't know. What did you find out about this game?
No, well, so like the video that they posted about Solana. I mean, really, what that video reminds me of is someone who just took their money and ran off to the tropical island, and this is their last video posted before they bounce.
Which video you mean? The Stray Cat Tribe is committed to building on ZKV.
Yeah. The one where it says, "Is Solana ready for cats?" That video, I'm like, yeah, he already took the money and ran. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah. I don't understand this. Well, did you? I don't actually. I actually got annoyed. I see Solana ready for cats. That's 2 hours ago. Solana. Like when you post about your game and 2 out of 3 posts have Sol or Solana written in your tweet, like, yeah, I think you don't really understand gamers. Gamers don't care what database you store your data on, mate. Yeah. Gamers care about how fun your game is. Show us your game. Talk about your game, not the chain you're building on. No one cares. Yes, we've got some people that do news and articles and preferences. But if you bring out a good game, 95% of even Web3 gamers won't be maxis. They'll play on any chain as long as the game's good. I don't get it. I just don't understand how games do this.
It comes down to fun. That's what we've all been saying since Web3 gaming has started to become a thing, is that when you want mass adoption, when you want people to come over, no one cares what chain it's on if the game is fun. No one cares. They don't care. Right? I mean, that's what gamers want to play for fun. And I have buddies that I still can't get to try Web3 games because they are annoyed with everything that goes on when they're just well, it's all a money grab, and you talk about all these blockchains and all these different things like that, and they're like, I don't know anything about that, and I don't want to know anything about that. I just want to play games.
Yeah,
Like,
I've got the same thing.
That's what Immutable, you know. So
Yeah, that's why we support Immutable, because they're not about the money side of it, and they're kind of being forced to go into it because of the way the industry is pushing, and it's obvious that it's going to happen. Like, because money always greed pulls, people in, and certain chains have got a huge amount of community from countries that are not as well off as Australia and America, like where you and I are from. So the money side of things is to them is actually life changing sometimes. Even like they just play 5 games and make $10 each game. That's more money than they can earn in a whole day's work. So you know what I mean? Like it's to them, but the thing is, it's not sustainable, and it's not going to cause mass adoption because people like your mates and I've got more mates than a couple. I've got one mate to play. He plays Wagmi games because he can use passport and he doesn't have to worry about anything. And he's just now starting to find out how much his things are worth. I showed him Token Trove, and he's like, "Oh, that's worth that much money." And then he told me the other day, he sent me a message saying this thing they've upped the rate, the drop rate of generals, and now they're going down in value. But at first he was really resistant, and it took him a long time for me to get him over. When the passport came, here's the passport. Log into the game, so simple. Here's your login. It was literally like 5 seconds in, he was in the game playing. And then after about 3 months, and you start to collect all these cards, he's like, "Oh, I can sell these." That's how it's going to happen. But no, those people are still not going to want to be involved in the Web3 culture. Like he's not interested in that, mate. He's never going to be interested in it. I'm actually not interested in it that much, to be honest with you. Yeah. But it's more the games and ownership.
Yeah, and I feel like that we were fortunate enough that we were able to meet a lot of the people that we spend time and talking to or communicating with, right? I mean, you and me, we got, became friends through the web space, and we were fortunate enough to meet a bunch of different people through there and connect with projects and things like that. So we already have in our people, and so now it's like, okay, I've got my close friends, and now I can actually go back to focus on what I love in life. And for us, gaming and what we're focusing on, yeah, I I'm over the Web3 life too. I've got my friends, and I'm close with a lot of the people here than I am with people in the real world. So, I'm good and I'm set with that. So,
Anyway, so Stray Cat Tribe. Good luck on Solana. I'll give my left testy if I ever see anything on Immutable from you guys. That's my bet. That's how confident I am, mate. I'm willing to put that up on the line, mate.
that just makes me wonder if you're already missing it. That's why you bet it.
Nope. Still good. Still good today. I'm pretty confident I'm still going to have it. Just don't tell them that there's that bet. Otherwise, they might just do it out of spite. Put one NFT on ZK EVM and say, Rubick, pay up, son.
You owe us something.
All right, so let's move on to a more fun game that looks like they might be building on Immutable, because they put their Immutable in their bio, even actually powered by Immutable. So they're probably serious about joining Immutable. A MOBA ARPG Sekuya, anime based. Looks pretty good. What did you think of it?
Yeah.
You like this kind of stuff, don't you?
I do like this kind of stuff, and learning more about him, and because they have their multiverse is what their big thing is, right? And watching their character styles is amazing, and you already know that with this anime style that the storyline is already going to be incredible. I mean, that's half of why people watch anime, right? And to actually have I mean, it is so smart to have, especially Web3 and multiverses of getting into anime style games, because the communities are huge, tight knit, and you talk about support. I mean, anime people who love anime will live, breathe, and die anime.
Oh yeah,
So
it's a cult.
yeah, and yeah, it really probably the biggest cult in the world is what I
Mm.
feel like.
Yeah, it just came out of nowhere in Australia
And
too. Like it was really
yeah,
underground. Anime was really underground, and then all of a sudden it just became mainstream. Like kind of like gaming.
yeah,
Looking
yeah.
at
I will say that their characters are or their NFT collections are different than I expected them to be.
I haven't
What it's showing up there.
I haven't actually got them up. Are they what do they look like?
They're almost they almost look like clay roots with different styles and things added onto
Yeah. All right. Well,
them.
Sekuya looks pretty cool to me. The website animation they got going. I hope that's in-game graphics. Looks pretty cool if it is.
Yeah. Oh, if it, absolutely. If it's in-game graphics, that is going to be one of the most fun games to play.
Immersive games anyway. Um, they've also somehow partnered with a racing car game. They're from Singapore. 40,000 followers. I don't know where there's games just get popped every day. I find out about a game, like literally every single day. I find about one game that's building not immutable, sorry, building um, uh, on Web3 that I didn't know about. It's like how they just keep coming. There's a lot of momentum
Yeah.
behind
Well,
that.
and yeah, and well, I was just going to say that Sekuya. One thing that I noticed too is that they already have in the works of 4 different spin-offs.
Oh, really?
So they've got, yeah, which it all says they're subject to change, but looks like they've got something coming out called NFT Wars. So it looks like you'll be using your heroes and being able to fight, but they have an anime series in the works, and it's something that says light novel, and then a card game. So I mean, 4 different spin-offs. I mean, like I said, doesn't set subject to change, so who knows if all of them will be complete, but that could be pretty interesting too.
See why that's big to me, and why we're seeing this in Web3 multi IP when the big incumbents don't do it, because for NFTs to have value, it needs to on go. Like, so if you just build like Hogwarts or Legacy and put in NFTs, what's the point of owning the NFT? You play it for 3 weeks, beat it, and then never play it again. Like, you know what I mean? Like, there's no point,
Yeah.
and that's what a lot of the NFT haters don't get. They don't understand how Web3 is changing. Like, you'll see, like, I heard someone say the other day, EVIO. Where's that gone? I haven't heard about them for a year. Like it's a shooter game. You know, there's a million shooter games. People play them for a couple of months and then get bored and move to the next shooter game. Like there's no why would they continue playing it? Because there's a token? No, that's not why gamers play games. It's it's the but the way to avoid that 3 million players on day one and then the slow drop off down to 100 players or the sharp drop off after a month and then then the petering out over the next 3-4 months is to create an IP where you've got different things coming all the time and different experiences, and therefore the value of the NFT or the ownership of things is makes more sense. It's more like long term than that quick traditional style of game. That's why Web3 has to be different to Web2.
Yeah.
Has to be because of that reason. Otherwise, who will buy NFTs or tokens if they think that people
Yeah.
are going to play for 3 months? But we'll see. Like
No, you're absolutely right.
and the last game that's officially confirmed is Trinity of the Fabled. It used to be called just the Fabled. And it was a Polygon game, and I always hoped that it would come to Immutable because I followed it. Have you followed that game, the Fabled, or now called the Trinity of the Fabled?
Well, only because of you, and I hadn't seen anything about it until I'd heard you talk about it, and it's another one that I'm going to be obsessed with. And there's literally not enough hours in the day for for any of this because that that kind of RPG and MMORPG is exactly my kind of game.
This is more of a
and
this game's more of what's that, Elden Ring and that style of game. Then
which is one of my all-time favorite games.
yeah, so it's not an MMORPG. And I read the white paper 2 years ago. I don't normally read white papers, but I was like, what? Why would someone buy an NFT or a token for an Elden Ring game? That's one of those. Just what I just said. The game's over and it's you don't want to play it anymore. And their design, I can't remember it exactly now. I'm not going to quote any of it because it could have changed, and also I'm not going to butcher what I did think. But I was impressed with their white paper tokenomics, the way to incorporate NFTs and token into the game made a lot of sense and cleared up that concern I had. And so I've always followed the game, waiting for it to release. I don't engage with them or do anything the Discord or anything, but I always was going to play the game, like just try it once. It's at the moment you can play the game, but you need to be a holder of the NFTs. So I don't buy NFTs until games are out usually. So especially for games like this,
Yeah,
not expensive ones anyway. And so yeah, I've been waiting for the ability to play it, and yeah, and then all of a sudden just saw that bomb. Yes, it's on Immutable. How good is that? Like it was like it's going to be seamless into our little. We're used to Immutable and using all our funds are there, and our passport's a game changer. So if they bring all that together, awesome. The just a very great experience for us. Yeah.
agreed. Agreed. I can't wait. And you know, once, like you said, a lot of it can't interact with every single game that we're looking to play, right? Because there's just not enough time. But it's kind of sitting in the shadows and watching it progress and seeing how it builds. And yeah, this is definitely one I am excited to see what happens.
I think you can control the dragon, or you play as a dragon as well. I believe you can. So that's
See, just
um,
hitting all the things that I love, all of the things that I love,
that's why they're cinematic.
dragons and
Yeah, it's pretty cool, man. And it's like it's not one of those crappy dragons like fake ones. It's an actual real dragon. Like that how you and I probably imagine a dragon should be based on medieval fantasy. But yeah, let's see. That's the end of games building on Immutable that we know of. Quickly moving on now to the rumor mill. We don't go into great detail in the game. We try and power through it, but Shield Games. I've got a follow. I follow someone that drops little hints of what games are building on Immutable, and so they're not always guaranteed. But this one, Shield Games, which is building Toy Defence, they're in our Discord when I invited them in there. So we're looking at partnering with them. Toyland Defence, sorry, the name of the first game coming out. It looks pretty cool. We've got it up on the screen now. But yeah, we'll see if it's coming out on Immutable. If you got anything to say about these games, just jump in, mate. Otherwise, I'll just carry on.
no, no, you can go ahead. I've just been looking at them and uh, yeah, I love your rumor. I love the rumor mill. So let's keep it going.
I might be wrong on this one. I'm usually right, but this one I'm not as conviction. Toyland Defence. Most of the time I've got like 3 or 4 pieces of data that I'm like, you know what, that's enough for me to say I believe it's coming to Immutable. This one's just a gut feeling, and so it's a 20%er, not a 50%er. But yeah, we'll see. We'll work with the guys where Gamers Galaxie is going to partner with them and get their game out there. They've only got 4 followers on the actual Toyland Defence Twitter, and only 96 followers on their Shield Games. So we will help them boost that by bringing them into the Discord. And if they're on Immutable, awesome bonus. Cool. So the next one's Everreach. Now this is a huge organization, over 50 developers, AAA game studio. Their web page has nothing to do, says nothing at all about blockchain anywhere at all. The game they're building is Revenge. And they're touting it as bringing spectators and players together. So what does that mean? They're not explaining it yet. The graphics look phenomenal. They look amazing. And the artwork as well as the in-game graphics as well as all the artwork on their websites is just phenomenal. And yeah, we'll see if they their collection of two things. I went and bought one of their collections for Sixmatic, which was like down to 50 cents, $3 or something, or $5 at the time when I bought it. Unbelievable. And so they're on Polygon. That's the reason why I believe this. I came across a post somewhere, someone saying that they're coming to Immutable. So wasn't from an employee though. So there's Polygon link, and then also someone saying that in a Discord somewhere. So this one is 50%, 40% Immutable. What did you think of Revenge? Did you have a chance to look at that?
Yeah, I did look at it some. So and it's funny because I have a hard time playing FPS games. It goes back to my GoldenEye days, and so it makes me nauseous sometimes. So there are some games that I have to fight through for a first-person shooter. But I, like you said, I think the graphics look really good, and um, I mean, FPS is so popular, and there's been so many people playing that I think that there are probably going to be a lot of FPS games that are successful, and this one could definitely be a fun one to have, and something to be. It looks like it'd be very competitive.
Pre-mint coming soon. So if you follow Everreach Labs on X, they've got a pre-mint. You might have saw me say I'm a reacher on post recently. You can sign up to be in the chance for getting in part of the free mint in this quarter. The thing about this game, so they are actually advertising blockchain on their Twitter, but on their webpage they're not. So they're not making the game about blockchain. They're just going to add value through blockchain, which is the way we like it. You and I both talked about this at length before. And the thing about, you just mentioned something about shooters. There's so many of them. There's literally 500 FPS games being built on blockchain, not more. So they're not all going to be successful. Most of them are going to fail. And the ones that just use the Unreal Engine Lyra engine will become, and don't go, you mentioned like the Devomon and all that, if they build their own niche. I think the shooters are the same thing. They need to be a real outlier of doing something different that people go, this is new. Like the Kokodi shooter on Immutable we just launched today on Gamers Galaxie Discord. Sorry, we didn't launch anything. We just educated. They launched a gaming hub, questing hub. But their game is a team-based shooter, and it's like ragdolling kind of animations, and in a kid's world, it just looks so different. It looks so much fun. Where if you look at all the the shooters that are coming out, like this one, Everreach, they all look the same. And we haven't seen too much gameplay of Everreach or Get Revenge. So, and they've also got this thing about the spectators, how they're going to interact in the game. That's good. If you can spectate the game and impact the game live, that is something new which people will get amongst and love it. So we'll see. I went a bit longer on this one because I think it's a massive title, and if Immutable wins it, it's a massive win for Immutable. So we'll see. Cool. Let's moving on to Planet X. Okay, this one really should be in the partnerships games building on Immutable. They are 100% building on Immutable. They're obviously just waiting for. They've got 250,000 registrations for their game. The mobile shooter. Talking about shooters, it looks really. The video, the animation, the cinematic looks amazing. AAA quality cinematic. But what does the game look like in game yet? We don't know yet. Well, there's not too much I've seen.
No, just
Another shooter.
just what you've seen, and yeah, and that's why I think interoperability is going to be huge, because, and I think competitions between different projects and things like that, that's what I like, and I think that's where like there's some building should be going around, stuff like that. But you also not everybody will survive, right? So
253,000 registered users. Yeah, and their loot box system, they've posted a tweet on that today. It looks really crisp. It looks like a kind of like a or when you poker machine, when a real like the Valve loot box system where you choose to open it and it starts spinning and it lands on one spot, kind of like the chocolate
Oh
wheel.
yeah.
Yeah, it looks really cool.
Okay.
Yeah, and there is
Like a
in-game
slot
graphic.
machine type thing.
Sorry. Yeah, like a slot machine. We call
Oh,
them
so like a slot machine.
yeah, we call them poker machines in Australia. Sorry, slot poker machine, same thing.
That's good.
And their graphics looks a little bit like mobile, so it is for mobile. It's not as their animations and their all their artwork for outside a game is amazing. It's not as good. It's better than the in-game graphics aren't quite as good as that, but they're getting there. This one's coming to Immutable. I'm 99% sure of it because of a rumor and because of a leak conversation. Kind of wasn't confidential, but I don't want to blow the. I find out about these things and I don't want to announce before they do and blow their, burst their bubble and take away their thunder. So, everyone that listens to the pod will get this. No one else will get. But yeah, Planet X is coming to Immutable. And the last one is Tap Fantasy. It's not confirmed yet, but I've seen now about 5 or 6 data points that they are coming to Immutable. It's a mobile-based RPG, anime style. It's one of the biggest games on blockchain already with 6.7 thousand daily active users. Peak. Maybe it's dropped off now. That's when you're claiming DApp Radar as your data source. Take that with a grain of salt, but they got 250,000 followers. If that comes to Immutable, it'll be pretty cool. See how it goes. Yeah. And that's it. That's it for
No, that's.
Sorry, go.
Oh, no, I'm just saying. Yeah, that's a pretty. That's so many users and active daily users, and they're huge. So that would be a big win. I think on Immutable.
We've only been going an hour for just the games partnerships, mate. But we warned everyone, buckle in. It's going to be a long one. We're not even halfway yet. So, moving on. So some non-gaming projects building on Immutable. Labrys is a Brisbane-based smart contracts company. They've been building lots of stuff for Immutable over the years, and they've now officially partnered. But they built the Chrono Forge Rift season pass, so they built the contract for that. That recent free mint that did 90,000 mints. So that's not. I don't want to go into big detail on it. It's just a company that's focusing building stuff for Immutable. Now, a big one, layerswap is live on Immutable. How good is that?
I'm loving layerswap. I logging in that one day, I think we talked and seeing that it was integrated so seamlessly into the toolkit, and I love that.
Yeah,
I've used it. I've already used it multiple times.
Oh yeah, I used it to. What did I use it for? I can't remember. I used it as well. But it only got ETH at the moment from Immutable X to ZKVM, so that's the big thing. You can get your ETH off Immutable X and put it onto ZKVM through layerswap. And there's also the refuel feature, which is quite expensive, but if you've got no gas, you can tell layerswap that you need tokens for gas through the refuel button. So if you're trying to do a transaction from ZKEVM to somewhere else and you need gas token and you don't have IMX, what everyone's complaining about right now, you can turn the refuel button on in the have you seen that in the layerswap thing?
Yeah, that is genius. When I saw that, I'm like, I can't believe this hasn't been a thing before.
Yeah. So a lot of people are asking about you should give us free transactions like the chain that we never mentioned does, 20 free transactions. Well, you can just go to layer. You can just go to layerswap and hit the refuel button if you've got no gas, and it gives you gas tokens. It's not cheap. It's like $2 fee, I think. Give you those, but it's $2. Okay? You can give you enough transactions to be able to swap into more IMX tokens so that you have the gas you need going forward. At least it gets you. You're not stuck like people are making out, but just Immutable's education. Interesting enough, tomorrow I'm being sent a UI UX research paper on, and guess what it is? Do you want to have a guess?
Wait, you're going to have a research paper?
I'm
You're
getting
getting sent a research paper?
I'm getting sent a something from Immutable that is for me to do UI UX research for them. And it is the educational piece that we've all been complaining about. So how to use Immutable kind of content. Finally.
All right.
That's what we've been talking about. So
yes.
Like we can just go, here you go. And I'm going to actually be able to, I'm very, very good at this part of my job. Part of my job is QA. I was so good at it that I keep on getting pulled into it. And QA, not just from the technical perspective of QA, but also the business logic. So understanding what the user is supposed to be able to do and giving feedback based on the experience I had. So I often get used to like at work, even though I'm a dev, to do that as well, because I'm too, when you do something really good at something, you get asked to do it all the time because of it. One of those scenarios. So I'm planning on spending a lot of time to give them solid feedback to let them know. Cool. Another thing that's happening on layerswap, I'm just finding out on the screen right now, is that you can see the IMX reward that you get for using the layerswap. So you get 2.2 IMX reward for moving. Much is it? Just the F. Weird. Yeah, so it's pretty nice rewards for using IMX at the moment. You can actually make money from using it. Like interesting. Like as in you can spend yeah. Like the fee.
If only I had waited a few days.
Yeah, and also did you hear about the fee refunds as well now?
Yes, I did. Hey, day late and a dollar short. That's how it goes.
Sorry, go on. IMX rewards for
no.
for using. Interesting. So you get IMX rewards for using the tool, but also get refunded the value in IMX of what the fees would be. It's a no-brainer to use Immutable right now, people. We'll get this episode out before that's up until the 29th of April as well. So interesting times. Let's see what happens. Anything else to add about layerswap?
No, just to reiterate what you said, if you're not on Immutable right now, you really need to be on Immutable right now. Layerswap, if you have anything IMX related or token related, it makes sense. Common sense. Layerswap, Immutable X.
Cool. Next is Warpgate. So they've launched 7 products already, and Galaxie GG used have used the feature already to make our own token. It's on the screen right now. Our token, Gamers Galaxie token, GGXE, and we're going to use that as a non-sale. You can't like buy off us, like no ODO, no IKO. I'm not going to worry about that stuff. It's going to be used as a tool for gamification, reward members for doing things, and then use it to buy when we get really good airdrops and things like that offered to us. People that can spend their GGXE that they earn by contributing to the community. So, for example, I've got a partnership coming up where I want the community to retweet and tweet. If they just post that retweet and tweet into a channel, they'll get GGXE tokens. And then later on, when Space Nation has a mint and offers us 5 whitelist spots for a free mint or something like that, then the people that want that spot the most can pay their GGXE tokens that they've earned for free just by engaging our community. So like a cyclical kind of relationship. So we can collect GGXE by contributing, spend it on items that you want that we get from being a community focused on Immutable, and then rinse repeat. What do you think of that?
I love every little bit of it. That's a great utility, and you know us Web3 DJs, we love our utility.
Yeah, and anyway, sorry, I'm getting distracted because I've got someone message thinking they got a meeting with me now. It's tomorrow. Cool. Anyway, so moving on. So Warpgate have got some pretty cool features coming out, and their website's pretty clean. So they've got some good UI UX designers. They're doing all right. Let's see what happens with them. And next thing is Immutable Gems. So this is another rewards program, different to the one we just spoke about. You want to talk about that one first?
Yeah, Immutable Gems. Yeah, so yeah, for one, the do quests get rewards is a great hashtag for Immutable to have, especially since they've really been rewarding active users. And so far, I'm at 3 gems for the 3 days. So keep it going. I think that's one more than Sorrow. So yeah,
He missed one, did he?
it's just another. Yeah, he did. Which so I was actually feeling pretty good about myself. But yeah, just seeing I'm curious about my head's been spinning about what the utility or rewards are going to be for the gems. I'm like, could it be a multiplier? Could it be, just had all sorts of ideas spinning. But what I do know is that Immutable is rewarding people, and it is only the beginning. What are you thinking about the gems and how that's going?
I think it'll tie into like kind of like these activity reward systems. So if you play games, you'll get more points, and so there's Beam is building that capability. And when Immutable announced that they're partnering with Beam, they said in that partnership that there's lots of tools being built that are going to synergize with us. So Beam is building a platform that can recognize activity in game and like allocate points based on that, kind of like your Steam achievements.
Mhm.
So Beam's building that. I reckon that Beam's going to build that into this reward system and give gems out for. You'll see, you'll see what games you've got installed in your passport, and by playing, it'll tell you, if you get this achievement, you'll get 5 gems, sort of thing. Like play for 100 hours, play, kill this monster on Metal Core. You'll get 3 gems. So,
Yeah.
and then that will translate into IMX rewards. So they'll have a pool of IMX rewards, and each month they'll pay out IMX based on percentage of gems you've got. So if I've got 5 gems and if I've got 8 gems and you got 2, with only 2 players that got gems and it's 10 IMX given out, I'll get 8 IMX and you'll get 2. Get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's the
hmm
kind of. So if you've got, the idea is to have more gems so you get more percentage of the pie of the IMX rewards. That's and I'm assuming it could be other things as well, but that's at the moment. This is just the trial.
That makes sense.
At the moment, it's just a trial to get people to make a passport and join the ecosystem. So start collecting now, but I think they will reward the early people really handsomely, like they did with the. We'll talk about it in a second, actually.
Yeah.
Cool. Anything else on the gems? You got any more speculation for us, or we'll move on?
No, we can go ahead. We can go ahead and move on because
We've got lots to do.
I got enough speculating. Yeah, seriously.
Okay, so highlight of the week, or highlight of this show to me is this Immutable Nexus. I'll let you go first. What's your thought on the Immutable Nexus announcement?
Well, that's pretty huge, and um, especially for onboarding, if you're wanting to onboard millions of players. Um, I mean, you talk about an ecosystem for game studios to their own ecosystem, and all of a sudden, Immutable is like, "Hey, guess what we got for you? We've got our own ecosystem for you to build on." And I mean, that another thing for that is interoperability, right? So this unlocks so many different pathways that and they all lead to Immutable.
Yeah.
I mean, how are you feeling about Nexus? I mean, this is huge news.
Yeah. So it's, well, AVAX's only major selling point, their subnets. So their big game wins have all been won because of subnets. So the ability for a game to have their own chain seems to be like shit flies, like it's they want to the games that are attracted to that idea big time, because it's, for starters, it portrays confidence, it portrays capability, it portrays superiority, because I am that good a game, I need my own chain. So Shrapnel, Off the Grid, Maple Story, DeFi Kingdoms left to go and build their own one years ago. Like they have been winning the big games because they have that ability to give them their own chain. And this does what the AVAX does, subnets do, and way more. That's what the big news is. So what AVAX has built is a thing called Teleporter, that is a cross-chain communication device or coding to enable it. But there's a big difference when you build code with the end goal in sight versus packing something on later on. So the capabilities probably won't be as good. The seamlessness won't be as good. And the maintenance of the code ongoing, the chance that it'll break because of the complexity you're introducing code into where it was never designed from the start, they're going to have troubles with that. Teleporter. Immutable's built out of the box from the scratch, designed the chain to have that complete interoperability with their whole entire ecosystem. So Passport, checkout, order book, minting, NFT trading, gaming SDKs, blockchain data, and the dev hub all work out of the box on a Nexus chain. So if Shrapnel decided to come to Immutable instead, they would be able to use Passport, no dramas. It would work. And that would mean that every single person that has a Passport account could log into your game. If you log into AVAX, is, using their single sign-on through Stardust, it's not going to work on the other chain, even through Teleporter. You're not, the login system isn't going to be interoperable with Off the Grid and Shrapnel. You won't just log into one login and it works in both games. Like with Passport, if you build on, if they were building on Nexus, both their passports would work interoperably with each other. So if I logged on to my very first Web3 game of all time, that game was Shrapnel, and I created a passport, and then I found about this Off the Grid game, I would log in with the exact same login, same wallet as in Off the Grid, and therefore the cost of ownership of acquiring new users is so much cheaper for people builders on Nexus than AVAX. And yeah, and all the complete interoperability is the difference from any other chain. And I saw there was a guy called Park that it was their major salesperson of AVAX, went into the chain. In the announcement, he literally responded with like a response to like a couple of pages long on why subnet's better than Nexus. Like, why would you do that? Like, I don't understand why. Like, the low class peak cope that it portrays is just ridiculous. And I read through it. There's only 2 points in that whole post, which I've got on the screen now, that are slightly accurate. Like, talking about time to finality, I think that's the only one that's right, and there's one other one, and everything's related. What he's referring to are optimistic roll-ups and their limitations, not ZK roll-ups. And the reason why I'm massive on ZK is because it takes way better than optimistic roll-up, which we'll get into later on as well. So it's a huge day to announce that. It would have been better if they just announced that it's available now rather than doing it. And there's speculation that Wilder World is building on one, but I think they're not. I think they're building their own Polygon level 2 chain. So this is not the same as building like a layer 2, like off of Polygon, like we have as Immutable, or OKX's recent chain, or Asta. This is like it's like you've got the whole code built already. You just need to push a couple of buttons to fire up your new chain and set up a few parameters to make it different. And also there's ability for nodes as well, for games to sell nodes. Well, I saw that as well. So, which is not something Immutable's ever done. So you could be MapleStory, come to Nexus, build your own chain and sell nodes, which what hasn't been done from that was interesting. But yeah, it's massive win, and it will be interesting to see which is the first game building on one.
Yeah, and I think it's pretty amazing that that it's almost turnkey, right? I mean, besides some configurations and obviously some customizations that they might need for some specific game studios and things like that. I mean, it's all going to be dedicated ZK VM chain, and so it's going to be the same tech stack as Immutable. And yeah, I think that people won't realize and how seamless it's going to be, and how, I mean, users are going to have no idea that actions are going across multiple chains.
Yeah.
I mean, they're not going to see bridging, they're not going to see the interactions, the contracts, anything like that. They're going to have no idea, and that's exactly what we want for people.
Yeah, and it's like, so it's enabling scale. It's giving them customized control and being able to monetize their token by using it as gas as well. So, and also like it's just Immutable's built ZK for games. That's it. Every single tool they build is got games in mind, where AVAX and Optimism and Arbitrum, Orbit Chains, and all these other platforms that games choose, aren't specifically built for games, which matters. Like the minting tool that Immutable's built, that is built for games to be able to reduce the cost of selling NFTs. Because if you want to give NFTs away for free by games for games playing, you don't want to cost much. So if you can mint 100 of them at once rather than one at a time, you're going to be 1/100th of the cost to give away, and it means that you can give away billions of NFTs for, like without it destroying your financial situation, things like that. Like there's just, and that's why you'll see a lot of games come that they've out, because it's just the tools there are already built. You go build an AVAX tool, I've got to build this login feature, I've got to build this sequencing, restriction layer I want, like it's all built, it's ready to go. You just need to, okay, this is the block space I want, this is the the gas token I want, this is a couple of little features I want that already pre-built. Tap, drop down menu, push it, go. That's what's going to happen. So exciting times. And that's it.
Yeah, it really is.
Highlight of the week's over. Definitely the highlight of the week, isn't it? Like, there's lots of cool things come out this week,
Oh,
but it's the highlight.
yeah.
Be nice if
It
we
is
knew a
definitely
date
the
when it.
highlight.
Be nice if we knew a date when it's going to come out, though. All right, so we're into Immutable
Yeah.
news now, and we touched on this already on Hunter's Arena. There's a game that I was really excited for, and it just went off the radar, and I'm like, why is it off the radar? Like, is it one of these games that just disappeared and made an announcement didn't come out, or why haven't we heard anything? But then all of a sudden they dropped a trailer. The trailer looks fire. Have you seen it?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That trailer is amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing.
It is going to bring gamers from Korea, especially as well, and the graphics is just phenomenal. Extractions are really good. MOBA is fun, but Extraction I think is better designed than MOBA for Web3 because of the ability to one person out of 50 gets an item, and it's just like the PvP, and you do all different types of things with it. So yeah, I'm really excited for that game. It's going to drop this year, so it's coming in the next 6 months to 8 months. So yeah, let's see. I assume it's going to come out earlier than that, though.
I love it. In the trailer, one of my favorite things, probably WT's too, because we're both little hairless, was even the way that the hair moved when the player was running was even phenomenal.
Yeah, it's pretty good AAA style game.
So much finesse.
Yeah, so I was really excited by that game coming out of stealth again, and seeing that it's still being built. Pretty cool. Definitely one I'll put some time into. There seems to be there's so many games coming, it's ridiculous. All right, next one. Moving on to Toolkit. I wanted to get your ideas on the fact that layerswap works in it, and Toolkit itself. It was very simple when it first launched. It only had 3 or 4 options. Now it's got like 7 options in the menu, and it can do a lot more. Coming together, what's your thoughts on Toolkit and layerswap's integration inside of it?
Yeah. Yeah, that was so smooth, and they were so stealthy with it, right? Because they didn't announce it. I mean, they integrated it before they even announced it, and then and what we were looking at because so I mean, being in the States, I'm not able to use the swapping, but I can use the bridge, the fast bridge. Made it so simple. And even for swapping, then all I have to do is go to quick swap. So the options that you have are pretty amazing. And what about the uh, let's see, quick swap, the NFT transfer?
Yeah.
That that was pretty smooth too. And I don't even think they've still said anything about that.
No, that's what they're
Okay,
building this.
so
That's what I assume I'll be testing all this, how to use this stuff, what it is. You can get deposits from
yeah.
Sex. You can get deposits. Yeah, you really have to invest in a VPN. Seriously, like I use mine like every single day. I'm from the same rule. I'm from the same nanny state that you're from, where the government's protecting me. From
Yeah.
from protecting me from making money. So,
Yeah, that's exactly what it is.
thanks, government.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Appreciate everything you do for me.
yeah. Thanks. I'm not allowed to receive that airdrop that everyone just sold on the spot. Like the Mavia airdrop. They just dropped me 8 tokens, and it was like $100, and I'm like, $100? So yoink, sold instantly, and then that Mavia token was never $8 again. I don't think. I don't even look. I don't care. It was $100 to download Mavia and build a base for a couple of days. I'll take it. Whoever's buying that token, they should
keep buying, please.
do you know that the banks in Canada, happen in Canada as well now? So the banks are actually asking you, like banks in Australia will have a limit on how much you can put into a crypto. Your bank with your money will say you're at your limit of how much you can put into crypto. This world, mate, it's turning into a censorship machine, isn't it? And a control nanny state factory, and we won't go into that though.
Oh,
No,
yeah, that's for a different podcast.
we'll be here. We'll be here for another hour at least.
Yeah.
Anyway, we thought it was really cool that layerswap was built inside a Toolkit. Toolkit is a widget, so which that means is you can get the code from what the Toolkit displays or balance and put it into your website. You could write a website called Follow Me Swears, cool website, and you can get copy paste a code for that widget and plug that balance into your website, and then put CSS around it to make it look like however you want it to look. It doesn't look like their layout. So you can make it look like it's branded for the Solemnly Swears swap feature, and have your branding all over it, and then it will just it'll be them behind the engine running the swap, but you can rebrand it. So that's what you'll see on various sites that use it. See swap features and stuff, and that's from this toolkit, and that's what they're called. But yeah, it's expanding in capability. Yeah. Sorry, go.
Yeah, no, I was gonna say, yeah, Solemnly Swear swap meet. We're moving forward with that.
All right. So we'll move on. Check out Toolkit if you haven't yet, people. Passport, main quest, first payout came for. Were you lucky recipient of that?
I was a lucky recipient of that. So received my legendary NFT and then the 100 IMX, and talk about being thankful and feeling blessed.
Yeah.
I know you got it.
Yeah, I spent about the same money as what I got from the IMX drop, and I actually used it to buy a Binance NFT, my first Binance NFT ever, which is like makes me feel icky, but
Yeah.
Do you feel icky when you buy stuff on Binance NFTs? I don't know. Do you get that same
Yeah,
feeling?
that's why I try to never do that. I try to stay as far away. The only reason that I would buy a Binance NFT is because of you and Gamers Galaxie. So
the only reason I bought it is because it's going to be on a ZKVM in Q4 apparently. So if I was told that game was staying on
you probably
BNB,
spend it on the same one.
I would be like, no, thank you. So that's the only reason we got involved.
Yeah, absolutely.
Being early was a rare trait, and it was definitely that's what I like about the main quest is it doesn't tell you step by step what you need to do. It doesn't tell you like eat, sleep, gems, repeat. It didn't say go to this website and click on gems every day. You've got to do it yourself, and you can see the daily gems link below it. I'm showing it on my screen. It doesn't say that card doesn't say to click on that gems to collect 1 gem a day. It doesn't give you the specific. You've got to trust in them a little bit. So being early and making offers to the altar, which is making offers to the altar is pretty clear, but it doesn't say what you get. But we didn't. If someone spent $18, they could have got $280 back for just spending $18. That's what. And a couple of people actually it did work because a couple of people reached out to me and said, "How come I didn't get my drop?" And some people that I used to play crypto unicorns with, and he wasn't a big IMX fan and is now on IMX with a passport because of this. So it is working. There are people coming over from outside because of the rewards that Immutable are paying, and as the word spreads, and I think that's why the gems are going to pay out huge their first time to get the word going out. So I'm hoping. Might be wrong. We'll see. Next,
you're not wrong often. So this one you were not going to be wrong on.
you want me not to be wrong. All right. So moving on, Gods and Chains new expansion has been announced. Red Awakening expansion. Do you play Gods Unchained?
Not lately. Another one just comes down to time. I played it for probably went hard for about a month or so, and then randomly will play it if I have some downtime just to see what's new.
Have you put it on? Have you put it onto
not
mobile? Yeah.
I see. I haven't, and just because I have multiple games on mobile right now, and like adding one more would be the death of me. Or the death of my mobile.
Yeah, I'm play it like once every 3 weeks. Play it enough. I do enjoy it, but it's what I don't enjoy is having to create deck. I just don't find that fun. Even though I've got a strategical mind and I loved like playing, organizing, like in EverQuest in World of Warcraft, I used to like host. I used to be the person coming up with the strategies and leading the raids and coming up with strategy, and I love that side of it. But it doesn't translate over to deck building for me, and that's what my biggest concern is for Shardbound. If it's too deep a deck building experience, I just go too many options, too many. I like the PvE strategical thing more than the PvP. I don't know why. Maybe I'm shit. I don't. But anyway, it's definitely worth mentioning. Gods and Chain is coming out with a new expansion and it looks pretty big.
Yeah, well, and like I'm kind of the same way. I like strategic games, but when it comes down to deck building, kind of all gets lost in translation and putting the time. I'd rather put the time into playing than actually battling instead of building when it comes to card games anyway.
Yeah. Next up is Illuvium's got a bit of news. Tell us about that one.
Yeah, talk about something that's pretty amazing. I mean, they are vague, when it comes to exactly what it's going to be, but I feel that's kind of what happens with these major partnerships. Illuvium partnering with Samsung, which is gigantic because Samsung is everywhere, and the technology coming out, I think it's interesting because it kind of coincides with a lot of the latest Samsung phones coming out and all the ones that are AI integrated and focused on Web3. Um, so I'm really excited, and I just started getting into Illuvium, and I mean I've always known what Illuvium was, but I felt like I um, hadn't gotten in early enough of being able to focus some time on that, but it's undeniable what they're doing, where they're going, and this is just another reason of why Illuvium is going to be successful in making huge moves because a partnership and integration with Samsung, whatever that ends up turning into, is gigantic. And you talk about something that should onboard people. I'm, what I would love. What would be cool is for Samsung, like when you buy a Samsung phone, if the games that are already preloaded on there, get some Web3 games. I think that
Yeah.
would be huge.
So it's a bit more specific than that, from my understanding. Like, so their TVs are going to have
Mhm.
Web3 graded into them going forward. So they're going to be people be able to do Web3 transactions from their TV. Pretty phenomenal. Therefore, I think Wilder World as well as Polygon altogether um, and Immutable, Illuvium partner with them. So that's pretty cool. So Polygon's games altogether, I assume I think those two will be the first two to get chosen. Then after that, they'll open up to more. But you'll be able to play Illuvium. It's also got a processor on there, like a game processor on their TVs. So that was one aspect of it. And then the mobile devices, obviously that makes sense for preloading Illuvium Zero onto the games on mobile devices or any other mobile. Actually, they're going to build all their games onto the mobile eventually. So yeah, a whole of Illuvium will even Overworld will be on mobile. They said, but that's a lot longer further out. But it's a pretty big announcement. The only thing is, I've got a Samsung phone now, and I was always a Samsung TV person as well. But then they went with Linux operating system rather than Android, and couldn't like half the apps I wanted to like download, like Twitch TV. you couldn't watch Twitch natively. I had to stream it and I couldn't be bothered. So I just went and bought another TV, an Android TV, so I could watch Twitch and use all the Android apps. So they really lost momentum because of that. I think, people a lot of people stopped going to Samsung because of that, and they're expensive. So they're expensive and you can't do all it. So I wonder if they've fixed that now since I had that issue. Anyway.
I would hope so, because that would be, yeah, I mean, that's kind of the same thing, because I love Samsung. We had Samsung TVs, but it just didn't make a whole lot of sense when they when they changed that over, and so we've used different ones. So this could be, if they did change it, this would be huge for Samsung.
Yeah. And also the second part of Illuvium is their upcoming 200,000 Illuvium airdrop to gamers. Unbelievable.
That is unbelievable. That's like what, roughly $25 million play to airdrop prize pool.
Yeah, freaking phenomenal.
Yeah.
Hopefully you get into that, mate. I'm not going to apply. I've never really contributed to Illuvium, and I don't feel right taking it away from one of our members, so I'm not going to apply. We've got actually, D'Souza's got acceptance and a room to get a couple more people in potentially, and also our other new admin member seems to have got us a few positions as well. So looking like the
Nice.
Gamers Galaxie community will get a few people that miss out on their own applications. Second, lucky losers. We'll get some out for people.
I hope everybody's listening to this. Some amazing alpha and rewards for being with Gamers Galaxie. Better come check Gamers Galaxie out.
All right, and moving on. So Rubick Shorts is just what I usually pound through these. So really interestingly, I've discovered that the Sphere Marketplace is no longer listed on rewards on Immutable's main quest page. So yeah, that was taken off. Kind of interesting. Any thoughts there? You?
I haven't really gotten a whole lot into Sphere, just from conversating with you and some other people. So for me, there no love lost there. I didn't know a whole lot about it, and apparently for good reason. It's just not there.
I'm not sure why that happened, but I have a theory. But I've got that's part of what's pissing us off section. My rant on will include Sphere. So and so Danu Games announces that they're launching on Xbox, or they're trying to launch on Xbox, which would be kind of interesting. Heroes changed. The AVAX and Immutable game launched on mobile. I'm not sure if Passport's enabled yet, but they're in the Passport list of games. So I downloaded it, but I didn't have time to play it yet. That problem of actually having work and kids and second hobby job as well in this. So leaves little time for gaming these days. Well, I'm beyond a couple of hours every day, sort of thing. Planet Quest as well is launching a play to airdrop soon. So they were huge on Immutable's third or fourth game announced, and it's been building quietly. They've got 300,000 followers or something. So, but again, it's the old game that not everyone's there anymore. So they're reaching out to everyone saying, "Hey, we're about to do a play to airdrop. You might have forgotten us, but we're ready to launch." So yeah, interesting. All right, moving on. Content breakdown section. So we just break down a few of the content pieces that, and this one, the Medium article about IMX chances of winning. This 70% market share thing is doing my head in. It's like the Chinese whisper. It went from, in 2022, of the reported wins, Immutable and Polygon won 65 to 70% of all games funding. Yeah, it didn't say total number again. It said if there's 1,000 games and 70% of the funding to all those games is 5 games, Immutable and Polygon have won those 5 games. Yeah, so there's 995 games they didn't win, but 5 games they did. And it's now morphed into Immutable has forever and will forever win 70% of all games that are ever built in Web3. It's so much fun. It's so annoying,
Effort.
mate. It's like, stop quoting that number, you freaking idiots. It's not. There's 4,000 crypto games, man. 4,000. Are you telling me Immutable
Yeah.
has won 2,800 games? They just announced they've won 300 games. That's not 70%, man. Ugh.
Yeah. The numbers don't add up.
So,
Don't add up. Well, and what I don't understand is why do they don't even need to pad it like that, because Immutable already is Web3. I mean, the major Web3 ecosystem marketplace. I mean, you don't need to pad it more. I mean, Immutable
yeah,
is it.
and Robbie quotes it. That's why it's annoying. Robbie should. He has a PR person telling him what he can and can't say, and sometimes, so maybe that PR person should get fired and get someone that actually knows how to stop creating tall poppy syndrome. Like, I don't know if you know what tall poppy syndrome is. It's a saying in Australia where if you're at the top, people always want to chop you down to get, and like they haven't won nothing yet. They haven't. Yeah, well, they're doing really well, but they're not the tall poppy. There's other chains that are doing better than them, and they keep on portraying this image of them being the tall poppy, and maybe that's helping them win games. And maybe I'm wrong, but this individual point, you don't need to keep selling it. It's not true. Not even close to true. It's not true in 2023. It was true in 2022. And stop it. Just stop it. It wasn't even Immutable. It was Polygon and Immutable. And not all the games are coming to Immutable. There's games going from Immutable to Polygon right now. Pirates of the Island, Unfamiliar Territory. There's a couple others as well that have left Immutable to go to Polygon. So that's not a win for Immutable. That's a loss for Immutable. And that was part of the 70%.
Yeah.
Dead Drop didn't come.
Yeah.
Wildcard didn't come.
Yeah. Well, and you're right about that. I feel like that's one of the biggest setbacks when it comes to the industry is all of the numbers and information that's given out that is only either half accurate or not accurate at all. But that goes to a lot of that. Just a lot of the reason why media drives me crazy, right? Because people are trying to paint a narrative that they want people to see, and I feel like the people should be that, like Immutable, they're better than that. It would be nice, like you said, if their PR person, what I'd like the PR person to be like is say, hey Robbie, you should actually point this out from the article and set the truth straight. And like, you could put a positive spin on things, but that doesn't mean that you need to put numbers out there that aren't correct. And that's something that I've heard you talk about, WT talk about, a lot of people talk about, is it's the numbers that always get thrown out, whether it's this many active users or hundreds of thousands of people that we have signed up or things like that. It's like not an accurate representation of what the actual project is.
Yeah. And that article, if people want to read it, it's pretty cool. Other than that part that I focused on, giving all the, but you know what I mean? Like, it could have been an amazing tweet for me and something I really enjoyed, but that 70% shit is just, it's at the point I'm just enraged by seeing it. Like, literally, I get bubbles in my belly going, stop quoting that 70%. It's bullshit. Yeah, it's not true. And people know it's not true, and they think you're an idiot for typing it. Literally, they think you're an idiot for typing it. Yeah. And it's like the same as Sui and their bots and Xterio and their bots, which we'll talk about later on. They don't have 6 million users on one game on their chain or in 24 hours, like they claim. Like, there's no way they do.
Yeah.
But and instantly, the only kind of games you're going to attract by stating that are dumb ones. People run by dumb people that believe you're hype. So stop it. That article's 19 minutes long a read, average reader speed. So it's a huge document. I don't need to go into it. But it's got some cool points into it about what Immutable doing right, other than the 70% letting that spread. Cool. Let's move on.
Yeah. Sorry, go ahead.
No, go. If you wanted to add more to it, sorry.
Oh, no, all I was going to say is that, like you said, because it was a long article, pretty much what stood out to me, what I gathered from is that it's tried and true that Immutable is finding that perfect balance of for their ecosystem, what to focus on, who fits in that amazingly complex ecosystem.
Yeah, they're doing lots of things right, that's for sure. And that's the article pointing that out. The next article, I was going to talking about how the Game 3 GG, the Game GG green guys website, they wrote an article on top Web3 games developers, and then I clicked on the link today, and it said you're in the queue to see this file. It's 2.5 hour wait. And I went, so I'm gonna, unless you got time to your computer didn't stack you like that and add some value, we can just skip over it.
Yeah, I mean, I took some notes from it
Yeah.
when I had looked at it. Yeah, I mean, a lot of it to me kind of went hand in hand with the Medium article. I mean, Immutable, pretty much Immutable to me is the peacekeeper of the Web3 space, the mediator, offering security, integration, and innovation. So, I mean, they in that Games article, they talked about the cost of building on Immutable is so insanely inexpensive. Um, if these numbers are right, 90% lower than building pretty much anywhere else. So Immutable just makes sense. And it's not just games that are migrating to Immutable, right? It's the marketplaces and the ecosystem. So it's when you have a turnkey solution pretty much operating with an in-house game studio that seeds, advises, and licenses game IPs from third parties. I mean, yeah.
Yeah.
So, like I said, article kind of went hand in hand, but it definitely had some good points that they had brought up.
Yeah, I've got that. Actually, the page is working now, and it's that's why I wanted to talk about it, because that data is pretty cool, like $4 million to build, and what it doesn't show you is what they can make off if they build those things themselves. So it's not as simple as $4.1 million is what it costs you. You get nothing in return for that. It's you get benefits from building it yourself, but that's a lot of investment. Like you want to be like the biggest games like Wilder World building their own chain. Like why would they have to spend all that money and more to get it done the way they want, to, when they could just build a Nexus chain and not have all those costs. The Nexus chain will recover all those things you want to do there for you. So yeah, you'll see this experiment of games building their own chains start to die. I think maybe only the very biggest games, like if a Diablo comes or something like that, will do that out of the bat. Not these Wilder World that really have no name or no brand or no real player base to warrant to have. There's not even 2 million players in Web3 total right now. Probably not even a million.
Yeah.
So like you need 5 million players, monthly players, to worth your while. So anyway, moving on. I'm going to leave this one for you. GoG Townhall. Did you have any takeaways from that town hall that we recently had?
Yeah. Yeah, and there was a ton of stuff that Chris Clay went over, tons of questions. I was just a few things that stood out to me. Something there was concerns with the OG community for Guild of Guardians was the Founders Heroes, just not knowing how they were going to be integrated into the new system. He kind of alleviated some of the headache and heartache over that. So they're going to have a head start over other heroes with they're going to have extra stars, which is really cool. They're also going to have unique abilities that no other Guardians will have. And then he talked about the possibility that access requirements for future content will be that you have to own. I got one of the Founders Guardians, or even to gain rewards and participate in certain events. So I think that utility kind of put some of the OG members at ease a little bit. And then kind of piggybacking off that, he also started talking about how to enlighten the Founders Guardians, because with your other Guardians, you have to burn or sacrifice the other guardians to enlighten them. Well, we didn't want to do that with the Founders, and so what they're doing is you can burn. There'll be a combination to burn and get a cracked heart, and so it'll still be heroes that you burn, but it's not going to have to be your founders' heroes. So you can get these cracked hearts, and that's the only way that you'll be able to enlighten your founders' heroes. So the burning mechanism will be pretty cool. You know, it could be a rare, epic, and a legend guardian that you have to burn to get a cracked heart to enlighten one of your founders or early adapter guardians. But
Sounds good.
yeah, and they also, and they, yeah, and they also said that that's still open to interpretation, and they're still open to suggestions from the community too, which is something that I love that um, they still really do listen to the community, which Guild of Guardians, I feel like, especially in the new age of Guild of Guardians, has been instrumental. But
Yeah.
there's also going to be collection rewards. So I mean, we already saw some of that from um, obviously the first 300 people that had uh, sacrificed prayers, but they were also talking about for holding. They kind of clarified. Some people had some concerns or were wondering if it was just going to be the champion chromas, which are the rarest ones out of the summoning event. But they said that they're trying to reward everybody that got some, not just the legendaries and the different chromas. And so, yeah, they're kind of spreading that out to make sure that everybody will be rewarded who participated, which I thought was nice. And
Very good.
the other thing, well, and the other thing I was just going to mention was that, and there's actually been something that's happened since the town hall, and this was mentioned, was the GOG token. So in the town hall, Chris talked about how there was going to be, they were trying to get it on some major exchanges and make sure it have a way for an inexpensive transfer from Immutable to ZK Well, since that town hall, we've obviously had some major things happen with layerswap, uh, the inexpensive asset transfer, and then I know we got listed, GOG token got listed on Gate.io, and so there are. That's what I'm loving is that town hall wasn't that long ago, and all these things he's been talking about is already coming to fruition. But yeah, those are just a few points that I had that I took away from the town hall that Chris Clay put on.
Awesome, mate. That was I usually leave the town hall stuff, GOG town hall stuff to WT. So, and because everyone in our community does GOG inside out and so I was hoping that you were as passionate about GOG as WT, and you seem like you might even be more. So that's good. Okay, moving on. My favorite section, because I like to have a little whinge. I am from the England, the motherland, the whinge and pommies, So, did you think of something to piss you off this week?
Oh, well, for one, I'm American, so everything pisses me off, right? I mean, that's just kind of how this works, right? But uh, specifically in this space, one thing that this is actually my favorite part of doing this, and I'll always love when you and WT get down to this because that's when my favorite side of you guys comes out. And but what's been really pissing me off is when you have people that have not been active in a community for months or a year or something like that. They come in, all of a sudden they're in the Discord and in your Discord channel and ask a couple questions and be like, "Oh man, this project is garbage. You guys haven't done anything. Why hasn't this been done? Why hasn't this been done?"
Uh-huh.
I'm like, you literally have not. You don't know anything about what's going on in here, and I swear it's every single Discord channel that I go in. There is people like that where it's just like, boom, yeah, I'm a holder, but I haven't been in here for a year. But why isn't this running yet? Kill the Guardians. It was, saw multiple people do that all the time and be like, yeah, the game hasn't come out. You got all this, when's the game coming out in like 3 years? I'm like, how about May 15th. They're like, oh yeah. I'm like, yeah, yeah. Last time you're in here, a few things have happened.
Yeah, I know what you're saying.
What?
This generation haven't been taught that other people's opinions should be respected, and that everything they believe is right, and everyone they don't believe or everyone doesn't believe what they believe is evil. So that when
Yeah,
you have that mentality, you feel entitled to have your opinion on absolutely everything, and how's that working out for the world? Yeah. Anyway, moving on.
Yeah, that's another podcast
Yeah.
topic for you and me.
Yeah. So moving on to my what's pissing me off. I've got two things. One quick one. Like the number of influencers that the so-called experts in the space announced while the world partnering with Samsung and not Illuvium in tweet threads, in tweets itself, and just in videos and stuff, and not even mentioning Illuvium. And a couple of them are told, and they're like, "Oh, I didn't know that." Like, I don't understand, mate. Like, how does that happen? Why is there this blind spot for Immutable for these people? Like, I don't understand how you could be in Web3 and think you're an expert and just miss all the news on Immutable. This is why I started this podcast, why I started this group, because I saw this. It still goes on in 2024 with Immutable look like it's going to be one of the leading gaming chains. Like, I just do not understand how they can constantly over and over again miss news about Immutable, like products that are on Immutable.
Yeah.
And so anyway,
Yeah.
did you want to say something about that?
Yeah, I was to say it makes no sense.
Yeah.
I mean, whatsoever. Like you said, that I'm wondering if people just got these blinders on. Did Immutable do something? Did it offend you somehow? Was there? I mean, there's got to be some kind of explanation. I mean, they not call you by your specific pronoun? Was there what is the what's the issue? That's just what I want to know, because their Immutable is making moves,
Yeah.
and it blows my mind.
Yeah. And the other thing that's annoying is like misinformation from these chains about to get their message across, like, and to win. I actually got on the screen right now, Beam. I've been complaining about it. I wrote a tweet today about how they're being misleading with their information. And now, 4 hours ago, since that message, I wrote hours and hours ago, but well before 4 hours ago, they've written another one. Beam X Immutable ZK EVM April update. There's been a wide variety of games committed to launch on the Immutable ZK EVM exclusively on Sphere. They can't do that. You know what I mean? Like, if I buy an NFT, if someone lists an NFT on Sphere, I can go into Token Trove and buy it. There's nothing Beam can do. That's the way the global order book works. You can list your Chalk River loot box on Sphere right now, and I can go in Token Trove and buy that exact box that you've listed and not use Sphere. So there's a false claim there that they're building exclusively on Sphere when they can't do that. We've signed a ton of games so far and ready to reveal the first batch. And then they're talking like they've signed these games to build on Beam. Like, it's just unbelievable that they're saying that they're building on Beam. Like, if you look at the quote tweets they've got, Boomland Games build on Beam. Like, they're not building on Beam. Beam's an AVAX chain, and Sphere is a marketplace that they're not building on. It's just a marketplace that serves NFTs. So, and they've got 10 games that have claimed to be, and it looks like if you're just some normie that doesn't understand Immutable properly or understand the relationship, you're thinking that Beam has just signed these 10 games. And so you look at the responses and you say Beam is winning. Beam has won the most games. Like, it's not true. Again, so I'm not going into too much detail because they are partner Immutables, but it's just the scene is so disgusting that they just twist stuff like that.
I'm curious of why I feel like there's been a huge lack of accountability when it comes to games that are partnering with Immutable or building on Immutable, and because I feel like if you're in the real world, in the physical world, we'll say, and you're a business, and you have someone that's partnering with you, that's working with you, and they went off and did something completely opposite. They're like partnered with you, but we're doing business with this, with your nemesis or whoever. then you would think they'd be like, well, actually, we have a contract with you. So what you should be promoting is us and about them.
Yeah, it's a
I
weird,
mean,
isn't it?
isn't that?
Yeah,
Yeah. I mean,
like
that to me, that's basic business sense.
yeah, you like you're partnering. Maybe that's part of the deal that they built Sphere for the ability to pitch these games like they're their own games, so they can win more business themselves. So that's what they're trying to do. They're trying to make portray the image that they're winning all these games, so that you should build your game on Beam, which is anti-immutable. You know what I mean? Like it's going against
Yeah.
when they go into pitch for games. Now, the only thing I could preface is there's a hint that they will be building a Nexus chain Beam. So they've got an AVAX super chain, SuperNet. So it would make sense that AVAX that Beam builds a immutable Nexus chain, which in that case, Immutable wouldn't care if they build, you know, chain. Said this, and they were building on the Sphere Nexus chain. Maybe that's what's happening. We don't
All
know it yet.
all roads lead back to Immutable.
Yeah,
All roads lead back to Immutable. All
yeah.
chains lead back to Immutable.
All right, so moving on, we're going to trying to get this last little section done quick as we can because we've been going nearly 2 hours. Sorry, everybody. Thanks for sticking by us, whoever did. Moving, the big post today, a couple of weeks ago or a week ago, about Polygon, ZK becoming multi-client, and then also an RPC node. Now, I did a bit of research today to make sure I got this polished right. An RPC node is remote procedural calls. In other words, it's getting, like, if you're playing a game on, say, Boomland, and you've got an NFT, and you're how does that game know that you own that NFT? It calls a database. Database says, these are the list of NFTs that Rubick has on chain or Boomland Hunter. And therefore you get access because it receives that information. Now, that process of collecting information got to be done very securely, and is where, the potential exploits come in. So receiving data on a code base is pretty much all code is, sending and receiving data, or right down to its bottom early. Rip it down to its last form. It's getting input output IO, input output data in and out, and so getting blockchain data is a really challenging because it's slow, and so these RPC nodes is how different companies can provide that service. So Polygon at ZKVM, I asked the question, he responded to me, Mahalo, the dev. He said, does this work on all chains or just the main ZKVM chain? He said all CDK chains, which is immutable as well. So 150x faster sync times and 10 times less disk space. So you get the information 150 times faster. And it's about scale. So if you just want one person to call some data from a database, it'll happen, no dramas every single time. But if you've got 1 million players and all of a sudden trying to get data, that's when it starts to grind to a halt. Getting that, that's what 150 times faster sync times means. 150 times more users can use the. If it can handle 100,000 users, it can now one RPC node can handle 1.5 million. No more. I didn't even do my math right. 50 million. So,
That's a lot.
yeah, it's about data, and but the increases in performance are amazing. That's what it, 10x less disk space, like that's expensive. Yeah, we'll see how it happens.
Yeah, I know. So I'm glad you're here because when I saw it, all I know is that I saw fast times and low space, which sounded like a good time to me. So
Moving on.
I appreciate your breakdown.
I don't care. Just make the code work. That's all you care about, the end result. So I do like to get into the actual nitty gritty of the code, obviously being in that field. So try to keep it as layman's terms and or less technical for everyone to understand. But ultimately, receiving data to be able to run your game, that means doing it cheaper, better scale, more players at once. Cool. Next thing, Sui has announced a handheld device. See that?
I did see that, and I, I after I don't maybe this is the rude thing to say, but after looking at it, I was like, it looks like it's the like a take my money kind of device. Literally hack my wallet, drain my account. Looks cool though.
Yeah. I think they should have called it instead of OX1 and DOA. Got, mate, it's like
I
no
think
one
that.
bots don't use physical devices, mate.
Mm.
They only live in code. So, but your million gamers that actually don't really exist aren't going to buy this device, but there'll be people that buy it, and it'll be a gimmick, and it'll die quickly. If they made this for all blockchain games, then
Really.
it'd have more of a chance. But just Sui, that's got less than 1% of the market of games, about 50 games. It's a play to try and get to win business. Look, you'll be able to play your game on our device. You can play. You're competing with Steam Deck and PlayStation's one and Nintendo for that business. So yeah, good luck. Good money
I feel like it's a
burn.
handheld that I'd buy off of Temu.
Off the what?
But I feel like it's a handheld that I'd buy off of Temu.
I don't even know what that is. Is that a website? Cheap and nasty.
Yeah, TEMU.
Nah,
Uh,
they have it in
yeah,
Australia.
where something where you might buy like a couch and then you get one that fits in the palm of your hand. That kind of website.
All right. So Sui DOA device. Prove me wrong, Sui. Okay, next big news is Xterio. I don't know if you know who Xterio are. XTRIO. They were a.
I
Sorry, go.
no, I was just gonna say I was gonna leave that up to you because I looked a little bit at them, just from you mentioning them, but you definitely got the know more about them than I do.
Yeah, so they were originally just a publisher chain, and they've just launched on April 5th a chain out of nowhere. What I like about it is that they've actually launched within a couple of weeks, or on that day they announced it. So no hype, no waiting, no, we're building this in 16 years' time. It's out now. But in saying that, they're also building an optimistic roll-up chain, which is pretty easy, and it's just copying. It's using the optimism stack. They've got Jeremy Horn, who's the king of hype, man. He's so good at generating hype and excitement with fake numbers as well. If you look at their, after that, they've announced, so many things like 6 million gamers within 24 hours. Like, yeah, sure, buddy. And
Yeah, yeah.
cool story, bro. And but they bought their numbers as well. But they're like the quality of what they build. They're building about 4 games. So Paleo, I think that came out and it had 2 million, and they sell out. Like they do mints with like cost 0.1 ETH and 0.2 ETH and sell out like within minutes. So they've got a lot of hype behind them, and it's a threat to Immutable. I'm gonna be honest with you. But in the end, I don't think Immutable is going to lose too many games because of Xterio. Like, if they were going to lose to Xterio, they're probably going to lose to one of the other optimistic roll-ups anyway. You know what I mean? Like, there's smart builders that care about security, and ZK smashes Xterio for security. Optimistic roll-ups for security, and therefore Xterio as well. So I'm a bit disappointed that they didn't go the zero knowledge proof direction, but then that kind of like confirms to me a lot of their stuff they do about hype and actual real, hardcore facts.
Yeah.
But it's a threat. It's because they do well. in sales, and they have got a pretty big community, just not as big as what they make out to be. But yeah, that's the. There's one other thing that's coming out is the Beam is going to. I think we talked about it already, did we? About the in-game Steam-like achievements. So that was already talked about. So we don't need to go into that. And that's it, mate. We're finished. We finally got there at the end. 4 hours
already.
Later. Yeah.
It's the time difference. That's all it is. It's the time difference.
Do you have any final thoughts?
I mean, my final thoughts that I have are: don't get left behind with what's going on with Immutable, with the gems that they're doing, with the rewards program, everything, the passport, using the toolkit. There are so many things coming out that Immutable is using and utilizing. Don't miss out. And Gamers Galaxie is right there, getting the latest and sometimes pre-release news out here. And the community is amazing, and the alpha that is in there is like no other. You will not find it any other place when you need Immutable alpha and even just Web3 alpha in general. So that's all I have to say. I love the Gamers Galaxie community, and yeah, and I appreciate the invite up here to spend some time with you.
Been a lot of fun, mate. Thanks for coming on and filling in, and maybe we have to get you up here a bit more often. Did really well. Thanks for putting all the effort in. It takes, people that don't know, it takes hours and hours and hours of research and preparation to do these pods. So thank you for those that listen to it and make it worth the while. And yeah, GGXE, the token, is coming to our community members. You can't buy it, you can earn it. You can buy it off each other if you work out it, if you want to make your own swap, but not off us. You can't buy it. And you have to earn it from being part of the community. So join the Gamers Galaxie community. Right now we've got metalcore codes. We did have some Space Nation codes, but I think they got revoked. I can get some more if we need them. And yeah, we've got heaps of things in the pipe for freebies coming. We've got 4 more pool masters slots, free mint, free, no cost at all, not even gas. So join us and see if you can get involved and enjoy, like being part of our community. And thanks for listening again, everyone. I'll see you all next time.
I appreciate it. We'll see you next time.
Bye.